What's up, everyone? Good morning. Happy Monday. I hope you're all having a wonderful start to your week. I've got some red on my face today, and that's a sign of the weather turning and getting outside and getting some sun exposure, which is always nice. Game changer after the year that has been and the long winter. It's wonderful to get outside, especially if you have young kids and getting them out of the house for the day. Complete game changer. What I turned this camera on to talk about today is one of our wonderful Canadian institutions, and that is Tim Hortons. And this is going to be a bit of a rant, me just thinking out loud. Don't take anything I have to say right now too seriously, but fuck Tim Hortons. This is the conclusion that I came to this weekend when I was at the grocery store, and I will tell you why. You know how at the grocery store, outside of the aisles, on the outskirts, the perimeter of the aisles, they have big baskets where they put in their promo items. Maybe it's something that's on sale or a new item that they're trying to popularize. While I'm walking by and I see this giant 8 by 8 foot basket section just full of boxes of Tim Hortons cereal. Both the chocolate glazed and birthday cake cereal options. Now, seeing something like this, maybe the reaction of fuck Tim Hortons seems inappropriate to some people. But I feel like products such as these should be much more controversial than they are. Because it's one thing, first of all, it's one thing to sell donuts and Timbits and things like that at Tim Hortons. It's a location that you physically have to leave your house to go to, while donuts and Timbits are breakfast and meals for some people, overweight people, most likely. They're meant to be treats, like a thing you have every once in a while. They're meant to be an indulgence. So when there's some sort of confection that's available at a store that you physically go to and pick up, and the idea is, hey, every once in a while you have one of these sweet, delicious things, that's one thing. And again, there's people who eat that stuff every single day. A box of Timbits is literally their breakfast. But let's give the benefit of the doubt and assume that most people, it's an occasional thing that they get for themselves or for their kids. That's one thing. But then when you create a breakfast cereal, that is clear. I'm sure there's adults that eat this, but this is clearly designed for children. Children who are going to go to the grocery store and then see how they make the box fun. The Timbits have legs, they're jumping and they're flipping and they're playing around. And they make flavors that kids will look at and go, I want that. Mommy, daddy, buy me that. And children will scream and kick and fight at the grocery store for that food. And the parent just goes, okay, I'll get you the fucking box of Timbit cereal. I think this is an ethical issue for companies. And Tim Hortons being the staple Canadian brand that it is, that everyone seems to be so proud of in this country, I think this is something that should upset people. Or I shouldn't say that. It upsets me, and I feel justified in being upset about brands that push out products like this aimed at children. You're not supposed to have sugar for breakfast. You're not supposed to eat Timbits for breakfast. It's not supposed to be a meal ever, let alone a daily meal that you begin each one of your days with. You don't have to feel the same way as me about it. And maybe I'm being a little hot under the collar right now with this whole situation. But it bothers me. This is clearly an issue for me to see stuff like this. And of course, there's so many breakfast cereal brands out there. It's not like Tim Hortons is the first company. Well, I'm sure I guess it's Post that makes it, co-branded with Tim Hortons. I know they're not the first company to do something like this. But it's a space that they're recently moving into which to me is a poor choice ethically. Maybe a good business decision, but ethically a very poor choice. So the first thing I want to do is see what is in this cereal. Maybe they will surprise me. Maybe I will be surprised by what's inside. And I Googled Timbits cereal, and the headline that I read is Timbits cereal sparks debate. And I think to myself, I'll shift over to this one here. I think to myself, that's great. The first headline that comes up is Timbits cereal sparks debate. And I think that means that people are saying, hey, what are you doing making breakfast cereal for kids that's essentially made out of Timbits or supposed to represent Timbits? And I think people are getting upset about this. Like, just stick to donuts and Timbits in your physical location, not as a breakfast cereal. And then when I look into this a little bit further, that's not the case at all. The debate is chocolate or birthday cake. Of course, Global News, fine Canadian news network. The debate isn't whether this is a good or bad idea to make a breakfast cereal to represent Timbits, chocolate glazed and birthday cake. This is which version of this cereal is better. Like, what is going on? This is what the news reports. The news reports the debate between which Timbits cereal is better. I actually felt good about reading that headline, and then you look into it and it's like, oh no, it's just this. This is exactly what should be expected. Why would I think that there would be a debate about whether making donuts into breakfast cereal is a good idea or not? And while there are adults, adult children who eat Timbit cereal, I'm sure, cereals of this type are made and marketed for children. And I think even making it for adults is an ethical issue, but you can argue that adults are free to make their own choices. If you want to eat Timbits for breakfast in cereal form, go for it. Even though everyone has to pay for that consequence when you're sick and dying, and when you have diabetes and you have to go to the doctor 10 times a month and you need all these medications just to stay afloat in life. Yeah, that affects everybody. But ultimately, at the most surface level, you're the one who's going to have to pay for those choices. So I get it. Yeah, let adults do what adults are going to do. But creating sugary breakfast cereals that are clearly intended for children, I think, is an ethical issue. So eventually I find out what's in these cereals. And I mean, there's nothing here that is clearly surprising. And they're both basically the same, but when you look at the nutrition facts, well, this is what's inside. Refined vegetable oils, highly processed grains like corn flour and cornmeal, and then just sugar, glucose syrup, artificial flavors, artificial colors, and then BHT, which I'm sure they've looked at the dosage of this and decided that you could eat Timbit cereal all day long and not suffer any negative consequences of consuming something like BHT, but that's like a makeup preservative. And I believe there are countries, probably European countries, that have banned that preservative from their foods and even from their makeup. So even there's countries that have banned it from allowing companies to make it for people to put on their skin, let alone put it into their bodies. Again, I'm not a zealot about it. I get there's things that the toxicity is in the dosage, and you can have a little bit of a lot of things without negative consequences that are ultimately harmful. But the point is, like, there's nothing in there that should be sustenance in meal form for a human being. Why is breakfast this meal where it's allowed to be dessert? I'll tell you this right now. I mean, maybe your kids are 11 and 12 and they're going to do what they're going to do. But as a parent, I honestly think it is irresponsible to have those foods in your house for your children to eat. Like, if you have a 4 and a 5-year-old, and I'm not trying to be, I don't mean to be judgmental. And I'm not a perfect parent. I'm not going to pretend to be. But the easiest thing you can do to take care of your children, aside from just loving them and being a loving and supporting parent, is to put good food in their body. And you can't control what your kids do when they go to their friend's house and when they go to school, but you can control what they consume at home. And if your cupboards are full of cookies and candies and sugary breakfast cereals, I think those are irresponsible parenting choices. And parents will get fired up about that, and I don't give a shit, right? If me saying that is upsetting to you, then clearly you know that you're making poor choices. But there's probably an element of convenience of that for you that you're not willing to give up, and you'd rather just keep the convenience and call me an asshole rather than look inside and say, yeah, I'm making bad choices for my kids. I'm allowing them to put trash in their body inside my house because I don't want to hear them whine about not having the cereal, and they can do it themselves. I don't have to make them breakfast, and you're being lazy as a parent, and that's fine. I'm sure there's lots of things I do as a parent that you would look at and go, this guy needs to get his shit together, or he's going to fuck up his kids. That's probably true. But this is my turn saying this to you right now. I don't know why I feel like I need to record these things and put them out into the world, but apparently I do. But I was just walking through the cereal aisle, or not through the cereal aisle, through the aisles, and saw this, and I thought, what the hell is this? Timbits cereal. I think we need to stand up to Tim Hortons, especially as the symbolism of the Tim Hortons brand in the country that I live in Canada. Bad move. Childhood obesity rates are the fastest rising rate of obesity in a very concerning disease category that is skyrocketing in North America. And Tim Hortons' contribution to that is, hey, let's make a Timbits cereal and let people have it at home so their kids can eat Tim Hortons products all day long. That should help with the obesity epidemic that is rising in children faster than any other age group in young children, even down to the toddler level. I'll say it one more time. Fuck Tim Hortons and fuck Timbits cereal.